Need to let you know it's time. Okay. Think we can start, family? Okay, power. Just okay. Start acting. Start. Dressed in black. Full black. Full black. Full black. Full black. Got my mask on the floor. Okay. Full black. Black cap, black or bluish glasses, black shirt, black jeans, blue black khakis, something like that. But anyway, good morning, family. Welcome to the Ambassador's Journey, the presentation room. Today we are discussing brand building, and I just want to give you some backdrop to this. So the whole idea around the Ambassador's Journey was to build your brand, was to teach you how to build your personal brand. So I'm actually excited that we are finally at this point where we can begin to action this concept and action this idea. So why we actually took the long route around was just so that you can have an understanding of why this is very important. If you've been on the calls, if you've checked out the content that we've been distributing, if you've been sharing messages and connecting with different people, you will begin to understand how important it is to build your personal brand. But we're actually going to break that down today so that it's no longer this philosophical idea, and also so that it's something that you can actually action, because I think that's very important, especially when you are joining a self-development program, whether that be your church, whether that be whatever religion you belong to, whether that be you joining the group or even the ambassador's journey. Right, you have to understand how these things are going to benefit you. So there has to be some sort of tangible outcome from this. And I'm excited to announce that the brand building begins today. This is the presentation. And there's just a couple of points that I want to focus on and get through this presentation so that you can understand it, and also so that you can decide if you want to actually go this route of building your brand with us on the ambassador's journey. Remember, we are not alone. You are not alone. It will not just be me and you, or you and I. But rather, there's an entire community behind us, and there's so many benefits to that when you are surrounded with like-minded people. Because you find, right, even along the journey, you might be motivated and you might be passionate about something. But if you don't surround yourself with people who are passionate about their own thing, or people who are goal-driven, or people who are after something in life, you will find yourself being very demotivated. And I think that's natural, right? It's normal to be demotivated. We actually had a demotivated day. I had a very demotivated day this week, where, like you're trying something and there's so much resistance to it. I'll give you an example. I spent an hour on the phone with someone telling me why this cannot happen. This project or this concept that I'm trying to implement in action. I spent an entire hour with someone telling me why it cannot happen. But what I found was I then went to my ambassadors group, and I began to speak to them and the progress that they making. And that sort of motivated me again, to get up and keep on believing and to keep on walking. And you can even begin to share things with people who are like-minded, because they're not going to take you down. They're not going to drag you down. Yes, they might hammer you at times, but that's because they want better from you. They want you to be the best version of yourself. And I think that is the perfect premise for brand building. The idea of a brand, if I can just mention it in a nutshell, right? The idea of a brand is what people are speaking about when you are not in the room, right? So if you look at mega corporates, they've done this successfully over hundreds of years. Even if when they're not even present, you still find yourself mentioning them, whether it be Nike, and whether it be Adidas, or whether it be Coca-Cola, or whether it be Pepsi. These are mega brands that have succeeded over the years, right? And every time you mention the brand of Coca-Cola, oh no, it's a tasty drink. Oh no, did you see Coca-Cola is doing this? Oh yes, did you see this? Whatever the case is, the point is that you are speaking about them, and what you have to say about them, that's their brand. That's the thing that they take pride in. And this is the same for individual brands as well, whether it's Cristiano Ronaldo. He wants you to be speaking about him in a certain way. If you look at it, there's a lot of slack happening around his name right now. But that's absolutely cool, because there are more people mentioning the things that he's really interested in. There are more people speaking about the things that he is passionate about, like his ability to wake up every morning and go to his training session. Just get the sorry. Yes, like his ability, or his character that he wants you to be speaking about, his ability to lead. I think that is absolutely important. And this is exactly what building the brand is, building your personal brand. What are people saying about you when you are not in the room? Do they even speak about you? And if no, that's a problem, because it means that you didn't make the impact that you are supposed to be making whenever you are meeting with people, speaking with people. How do you make people feel? I've made it up in my mind that whenever I speak to someone, I want my energy, I want it to be so infectious that it must motivate you that same second to get up and do something with your own life and with your own space and in your own environment. That's the brand that I am building. So whenever I try to speak to people, I want to bring my best energy forward. And this is something that I've had to practice because like you experience life, and when you experience life, things can happen. It might be good, might be a bad day, but that doesn't matter. As soon as you meet with someone and you connect with someone, you want your energy, your infectious energy, to be on them and to motivate them and to inspire them. So this is the idea of building the brand. People, what are people saying about you when you are not in the room? If you can get that factor in your mind, right, you can then begin to build your personal brand. Because this is the fact. This is a fact. Every corporate brand and every celebrity brand focuses on the same ideas. There's nothing different compared to what they do. They all do the same. They are all doing the same thing, right? And this is why principles is important. And this is why principles is a part of our program, where we teach you the principles of success, how to succeed. Because if you can understand those principles and you're applying them and you are seeing the fruit, you are seeing its benefits in your life, right? You will be able to identify and spot principles wherever you begin to go. So I've been studying brand building now for over a year, and I've narrowed it down to like 6 things. There are only 6 different things that brands do when they want to build themselves up and when they want to succeed as a brand. They want to be world renowned. They want to be they want to be they want to be world renowned, and they want to be making an impact in life and in the spaces that they want to be impactful in. So that's the idea, people. And what I want to do right now is I've actually prepped the presentation. So I have a couple of questions that I would like to ask, answer really. This is the questions that I've been getting around the idea of brand building. So what is the point of building your brand? Right. The point of building your brand is, I'll mute Madam Winnie over there. Madam Winnie, welcome to the call. Thank you so much for joining. Just to give you some backdrop, Madam Winnie, the Sunday presentations is a bit different compared to the midweek presentations. So there's not really a discussion that happens on a Sunday. We just want to get to the point of what we're discussing and then get out, because we know Sundays are family days. So there will be a discussion points in our midweek session. So definitely please be involved in that as well. That's why I'm muting you. Apologies. But here. So let's carry on, right? So what is the point of building your brand? The point of building your brand, people, is so that other people around you can begin to see your value. So this is why it's good to build your brand. So what are you passionate about? What are you an expert in? Right. And as soon as you become an expert, building your brand around that thing will allow other people to see that you are an expert. And I might be using the reference wrong here, right? But When you have a brand, you become the honey to the bears that are around you. And as you know, bears are attracted to honey. They go on the hunt for it. They go in search of it. So when you build your personal brand, when you become known for something, whether it is you're a fitness expert, you want to be known as the fitness person, the fitness guru. You want to be known for drawing up successful training programs, right? Build your brand around that so that the bears who are looking for that service will come to look for you. And that's why building your brand is absolutely important. That's the point of building your brand. You want to be known for something. You want to be known as the um, as a value added person in this particular space. Another thing that I've read, not read, but studied around brand building, right, is that when you become valuable in something, people come looking for you and they will pay you for it. This is why it is so important. I became very valuable in the sports industry and people started paying me for my services. This is just what it is. It took years to build my brand in the sports industry. I had to get levels of experience and levels of exposure. I had to sit down with people. I had to be cut as well. Gee whiz, because I had an arrogant mindset that had to be broken down. I had to go through the waters to know what I know today. But the fact is, now that I know what I know, I am valuable in this industry. And I'm valuable to the point that people are willing to pay me for my services. People want to partner with me. People want to work with me in that case. So I become like honey to the bears around me. And this is why building your brand is so important because exactly what has happened to me, right? Exactly what has happened to me, the same thing can happen to you. And this is what I try and explain to people. Just because I had this level of success in the industry, that does not mean you will be kept at that level. You can be doing so much more. The fact is where I failed as a brand, where I failed, because I did, no, I don't want to say I failed, but I made a lot of mistakes because I didn't have the brand concept. Where I would go into a space, be arrogant about it, not appreciate people, not appreciate the resources around me. I took a lot of things for granted. I mistreated people. And this actually had an impact on my brand, but I didn't have the brand mindset. So when I was doing these things, I was just doing it to get ahead in life. And I didn't care who I trampled on. But the thing is, because you now will have a brand mindset, you will not behave like that because you will understand what are people saying about me when I'm not in the room. If I'm not in the room, are people saying things like, ah, this person misused me? No, this person doesn't appreciate what they have. No, this person doesn't appreciate my value in the space. Right. And this is what happened to me as well, because I didn't have the brand mentality. I didn't realize that what people say about me in a certain space, in a certain industry, is actually important. It's something that you want to pay attention to. And I'm not saying you must now begin to listen to the critics and things like that. No, but I'm saying, what is the impression that you want to have on people? So that when you leave the room, what are people saying about you? Is it good things? Is it bad things? This is why building your brand is so important. Make sure that now, because you are a personal brand, especially you, Madam Winnie, because of the impact that you are going to be making in the sports industry, in the fitness industry, in the lifestyle industry, make sure that you, firstly, right, are living out what you want people to be speaking about. Make sure that you want to be a positive and impactful person. You want to be motivating people. Make sure that you are now a motivational person. And I'm not saying you have to be standing on the sidewalk and preaching. No, just make sure that by your actions, make sure that when people interact with you, you are grinding in, you are imprinting what you want them to be speaking about you. That's the idea of building your brand. So I just want to move on to the second point. So yes, so what does building your brand actually mean? In a nutshell, people, in a nutshell, building your brand is you realizing your value, right? Practicing that value, putting that value out there, and making sure that that value, um, people are speaking about your value the way you want them to speak about it. That's it. Look at Nike. Nike doesn't care. Okay, not they don't care, but Nike does not put forth whenever you do see Nike ads. They don't show you the product. They don't tell you the let the person they let the person they're partnering with be their brand. Drake is part of the Nike brand. So when you look at Drake, you're seeing someone who is tenacious, you're seeing someone who is successful, you're seeing someone who does give back to the community, you're seeing someone who adds value. That's what Nike wants you to think about them. The same thing happens with LeBron James. You don't see Nike advertising sneakers or advertising the LeBron James t-shirt. No, they just stand behind LeBron James because LeBron James is the value. When you think of Nike, Nike wants you to think about LeBron James. They want you to think about all the Nike athletes, Cristiano Ronaldo, Michael Jordan, right? And this is what everyone is doing. This is what all the mega brands are doing. Just notice it. New Balance has gotten on the same wave now. They're no longer advertising their products. They're getting behind people, the value of people, the impact that people are making, people who are courageous, people who are determined, people who are after success. This is what New Balance is now getting behind. So whenever you think about New Balance, you're not thinking about the tacky New Balance. You're thinking about their brand. You're thinking about their values. You're thinking about what they want you to think about. And it's the same for corporate, even for corporate brands and for individual or personal brands. It's the same thing. Okay, cool. So I think I answered that question very nicely. So how do I start the process of building my brand? Now, very important. When you are going to be building your brand, please understand it will not happen overnight. It's not going to happen in 2 days. It's not going to happen maybe within what 20 days, whatever the case may be. No, that's not going to be the thing that actually builds your brand. Build your brand is your consistent effort in the things that you are passionate about. That's how you begin to build your brand. So find what you are passionate about. Find it, right? Then develop a vision around what you are passionate about. Where do you want to take this thing? And then begin to walk that road. And as you are walking that road, have in mind what you want to see in the future and begin to live that now. And if you begin to live that now and you do that long enough, people will begin to speak about they'll begin to speak about you. They'll begin to speak about the things you are passionate about. They'll begin to speak about the things you are doing. So this is the point, and this is something that I got from Jay-Z. You just have to do something long enough for other people to believe it. That's it. So when you ask me, right, how do I start building my brand? I'm gonna ask you, what do you want to do? Okay, cool. Now that you know what you want to do, walk towards that vision and do it long enough. If you do it long enough, people will begin to speak about the things that you are doing. They'll begin to speak about it in the way that you want them to speak about it in. I'll give you an example. My brother and I last year we started a business, right? So we started a business. It was called HPC. It still is called HPC, and we set out to be a brand that actually provides a service to people, right? And we did it the first couple of weeks. People were like rejecting us. There were people who bought into our service, but there were people who didn't. And the people who didn't were the people that we wanted to involve in what we were doing, but they didn't believe it because they thought, "Are we doing this thing just to pass time? Oh no, we're doing this thing because maybe we want money, or we're doing this thing for whatever reason." But we knew that we want to provide a service. And so we did this for almost a year. And only closer to the end did people begin to understand what it is that we are doing. Only towards the end of the year did people begin to appreciate the things that we were doing. And suddenly they started speaking our language. They started seeing what we wanted to do. Oh no, these are the people who are providing a value added service. They are providing to our needs right now. And that's the brand that we wanted. We wanted, whenever someone spoke about HPC or the brand or the idea of HPC, we wanted there to be an affiliation between the brand and us providing a service that actually takes care of your needs. And only towards the end of the year did people start speaking about it. But my point is this, right? When you want to build your brand, how do you start building your brand? You have to walk towards that thing and just do it long enough. Do it long enough. I don't know what is long enough for you. Like, don't have an instant gratification mindset. That doesn't work. Right? If you look at brands that have been successful last for like 50, 60 years, people. Put that in your mind. I want my brand, Tevin Blichnout, the brand of Tevin Blichnout. I want people to be speaking about this brand when I'm dead. So that's my mindset. So I'm thinking about a forever brand here. I always want to have a brand that is creating a perpetual stream of income for myself, for my family, and for my future generations. So what does that mean? That means I have to walk towards my vision as long as it takes for people to begin to speaking for as long as it takes for people to begin to speak about the things that I want them to speak about. I'm not after instant gratification. And this helps so much. It really does. And I had to shift. This is why the journey is so important, where you learn about development, you learn about self-development, self-empowerment first, before you get to empowerment. Because I can give you the tools that you need to build your brand. But if you're going to build your brand and then your brand fails within the next 2, 3 months because you don't have a long-term mindset, you don't have a vision, you don't have a vision that actually aims to impact your generation, then it's pointless. It's absolutely pointless. Right. So you want to get good groundwork in, you want to have a long-term mindset. You want to be building things for hundreds of years, right? Because if you have that sort of mindset, and I promise you, okay, not say I promise, my generation especially, right? A lot of the people that I'm connected with are doing this now, right? We are having the long-term mindset now, and we have had to learn this mindset. We have had to be around each other to secure this mindset and to lock this sort of mindset in, right? Whereas you have the previous generation is very much after my next meal. I need a job so that I can feed my family. I need a job so that I can do this. I need a job so that I can do. Everything is instant gratification. My generation is like, no, I want to do this so that my family, then my children, and my children's children's children don't ever have to experience what I have had to experience. So that's my mindset. And the people that I'm surrounding myself with, that's their mindset as well. We are all legacy builders. We are all generational wealth creators. That's our mindset. So even though right now we might not have that wealth, it's cool. It's cool. But remember, it's your brand. You want people to be speaking whenever your brand, sorry, when it comes to your brand, this is what you want people to be speaking, not to be speaking, but you want people to be speaking about this when it comes to you. So I want, whenever someone mentions the name Kevin Bluchnott, I want brand building to come up. I want wealth creation and wealth generation to come up. I want cash flow empires to come up. I want content creation to come up. So I will do these things now. I will do it now. And people will look at me now today. They will look at me and be like, no, you're wasting time. This is just another phase. It's just another passion. It will come and it will go. That's cool. Right. People will look at me and be like, no, he doesn't even have these things. It's cool. My mindset is like, no, I'm doing this forever. I understand that eventually it will get to this point. Whatever I'm setting out now, the stars that I'm aligning on my roof, eventually it will all click. It will all fall into place. And that's the only thing that I'm focused on, because that's what I want my brand to be about. I don't focus on temporary emotions. I don't focus on temporary conclusions of people. It's cool. I'm after this thing that I set out in my mind, and I want people to speak about that. So I will do this for as long as I need to do this for people to speak about, the things that I'm doing in the way that I want them to speak about. So yes, cool. Let's get on to the next topic. What can you gain from building your brand? Wow. Okay, cool. There is so much. There is so much. Firstly, as a human, you are multifaceted, right? There are many things that you are interested in. When you are building your brand, you can actually enter and use the different passions that you have. So you have people who are career centric, right? So people who are career centric or even degree centric, they don't operate outside of those industries or outside of the level of expertise. When you have a personal brand and you have 50 different passions, people, you can get into 50 different things at the same time. That's definitely a benefit of being a brand. Look at Cristiano Ronaldo, right? So many people see him as a football player, but to him, his personal brand, he's in modeling, people. He's a business person. He has different products. He has different passions. He has different desires. Because he is a personal brand, he can get into any one of those things and leverage off of the status of the success, right, of his previous endeavors. This is the power of building your personal brand. So when you succeed in one thing, that name now carries weight. Your name carries weight. Kevin Bluchnott, I'll give you an example again. When we got into the fruit and veg industry and we began to service different people, because we were delivering as well, right? Whenever I would deliver to someone and get involved with charities or foundations, whatever the case may be, the first thing that people would tell me was like, because it's you, I know quality, must be quality. That is because I brought a quality aspect to my sporting industry. And I had so much success in the sports space. right? Because I brought that elements that I wanted to bring. So I was able to express my own desires, or I was able to express my nature within the different sporting spheres. So when I moved into another industry, people were like, yeah, okay, quality happened here. There's probably quality going to be happening here. And this is the power of building different space, people. You can monetize the things that you want to be doing. How cool is that? You can leverage, when you have a personal brand, you can leverage your personal brand to create awareness for other brands. So you can partner and collab with different people. There's so many benefits to having your personal brand. Something that is powerful as well is that when you have a personal brand, you actually can own your time. I think that's really important. So many people, they have to work, they have to get up and work. But when you build your personal brand and you begin to create cash flow streams for five or six of the different passions that you are interested in, you can actually position yourself in a place where you own your time, where now you get to do the things that you want to do. If you want to become an analyst for whatever reason, leverage from your personal brand, leverage from it. People, take your expertise in one area and go and apply it in a different area without having a degree, without having a qualification or a certificate. This is the power of your personal brand. So yes, okay, cool. What can I gain from my personal brand? Let me just get that done quickly. Monetize. You can monetize your personal brand. You can leverage your personal brand. You can create strategic partnerships with your personal brand. You can create strategic opportunities with your personal brand or with your brand. This is the power of a brand, people. Okay, cool. So the last question, and I think it's actually very cool that we can round up the session like this. How does the ambassador's journey actually fit into this? Like I mentioned, right? With your personal brand, you want to do the things that you are passionate in. You want to find the things that you are valuable in, or the industries that you are valuable in, where people really appreciate you, right? And then you can begin to leverage that value into different things, into the different passions that you are after or interested in. Right. So how the ambassador's journey fits in with this is we help you find your value. Firstly, we help you to see, right, through the different processes, whether it's development, whether it's self-development or self-empowerment, and then also empowerment. Wherever you are, we will help you discover your own value. And as soon as you are able to discover your own value, you will begin to treat yourself differently. And the moment you treat yourself differently, people around you will begin to change how they treat you. All of this is taught, all of this is learned, all of this is applied. It's practically, there's a practical evidence. I have people check out the different links. There's people who are a certain way, they'll tell you themselves, and they've changed because of the journey. They've changed because of they've gone through something now, so they understand their strength. And this is the power of the journey. You need to come to a space where you understand your own value. You need to come to a space where you understand what it is that you are after. You need to understand how to set vision. You need to understand how to break down your vision into small, manageable tasks. That's all lined up here because this is what your brand is going to be built on, right? You have the idea of, no, I want to have my own clothing label. Cool, right? So when you think about that clothing label, you want people to think what? Quality brand, quality lifestyle outfits. Or it must be neat, it must look fancy, it must look whatever it must look, right? And you want your name to be on it. Cool. So before people can see the value in that name, you must first see that value in yourself. When you can begin to see that value in yourself, other people will begin to see the value that you are portraying to the world. And that's it, people. That's our session for today. Yeah, I thought just to start off this presentation, um, I think that is where we will start. That's also where we will end it for today's session. And there's so much more to come. Coming up during these presentations, right, I'm going to be giving you the 6 things that every brand does. There are only 6. 6 things, right, 6 things that Ronaldo has done, 6 things that Nike has done, or Nike, sorry, 6 things that Nike has done, 6 things that Barcelona has done, 6 things that Manchester United has done, 6 things that the NBA has done, 6 things that the NCAA has done. And these are things that are not being done in our own country. That's why we can see the gap. So as soon as we begin to feed this information and share this information and people apply it, right, we will begin to see movement happening. And I am evident of this, people. I was in the sports space. I was stuck in the sports space. I then eventually had to learn how to build my brand so that I can move into different spaces. I had to fail so many times, trialing and erroring with the principles that I want to share with you. But eventually you get the gist of it. You get it. And as soon as you get it, you can now have it for yourself and use it. And that's powerful because as soon as you are using it, you can begin to teach other people how to use it as well. And that's it. Thank you so much for joining in. Well done for investing in yourself, people. Yeah, well done for investing in yourself. That's something that we believe in entirely on the journey. If you don't invest in you, who's going to invest in you? Right. And the beautiful thing about investing in yourself is that you can actually get a lifetime return, a lifetime of benefit. Investing in something of knowledge, you will get that knowledge that you can now use for the rest of your life. So well done for investing in yourself. And yeah, we will see you on the next Ambassador's Journey, the presentation room. That's it. Peace. End this meeting.